Let's have a quick chat about the race for the National Assembly leadership. Joining me now is member of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Auwal Rafsanjani. Thank you so much for your time here, Auwal.
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers.
Indeed. Well, I want to, first of all, I want to pick your thoughts on, the process so far, the lobbying and the electoral process we would see. What are your thoughts about how things are going so far?
Well, first and foremost, I think it is important that we understand that it is only members of the National Assembly that have the power, the mandate, the responsibility to elect among themselves principal officers that will, provide leadership within the assembly, whether it is in the House of Rep or whether it is in the Senate. So anybody who is not a senator, who is not among the senators, cannot come and dictate and force or impose or determine who becomes a principal officer in the Senate. Likewise, too, in the same in the House of Representatives. So it is important that outsiders need to understand that they have a limitation, constitutional limitation, conventional limitation, legislative limitation, that they cannot come from outside and impose leadership in the National Assembly. That will undermine and negate the separation of power, like it has also been mentioned in the previous comment by one of the person you interviewed.
Indeed.
So it is important that we allow the National Assembly members to decide among themselves who should, who is capable, who has the integrity, who has the capacity, who has the popular support to emerge. There's nothing wrong for the party to lobby its own members in the National Assembly, but not impose or make it like a directive. And the president is not also good. Yeah, and the president should not, in fact, it's not even good for him to be seen to be guiding, directing, and trying to impose who should be a principal officer, because that alone, you have already compromised that assembly if it eventually happens, because people will no longer see them as going to people that will be able to represent the interests of Nigerians, but rather the interests of the executive. So any group that is being paid to come doing press conferences, I think they missed the point, because this is a job only for legislators.
What I want us to talk about now, Auwal, is the elections are only down the road. I want us to talk about the kind of person who should emerge as, within the leadership of the National Assembly. What kinds of people do you expect the senators to pick to lead them?
So we are expecting that, since the National Assembly is an investigative institution, they interrogate, they ask questions, they ensure compliance of laws, policies, and programs of government. It means that there must be examples set among themselves. You cannot have people who have corruption cases. You cannot have people who have human rights violation. You cannot have people who absolutely are ethically and morally bankrupt to preside the affairs of the assembly that is supposed to be calling for investigative hearing, public hearing, and ensuring that government policies, programs, and even the law itself is complied with. So you must make sure that you have somebody with impeccable character, somebody who is not actually tainted by corruption, somebody who is not also autocratic, somebody who is not also very disrespectful person, somebody who also have the interest of the country, because you must have some patriotic mind in whatever the kind of person you are looking at. You cannot have somebody who will go and sell us, whether at the executive level or even to the foreigners. We need to have somebody who lives in the country. We need to have somebody who has the skill, the knowledge, the experience, you understand, to be able to be there. You need to have somebody who is gender sensitive, because we don't want a principal officer that will be making remarks that are tantamount to disrespecting women. You understand? So we need to have the character.
Well, so do you see these qualities in the current set of people who are running for leadership for the National Assembly?
To be honest to you, I don't know why some policies pencil down some people that they insist they must have them, either from the opposition side or from the pro-government side. I think out of 109 legislators, senators, there are people who have less baggage. There are people who the public is not known them to be corrupt or to be people who have been doing things that are not inconsistent with our constitution. Why can't that is why I say the members should be allowed to discuss among themselves and bring out one out of them who is not having problems that already undermine the integrity of that office. Because when you are labeled as a corrupt or you are having corruption, cases, honestly speaking, that is not good for that, position to have somebody
Indeed.
who is having such kind of issue, So we need to make sure that we encourage the legislators to be able to do the needful within among themselves and based on the law they have. But any attempt to come and impose it and to even openly come to say, this is my choice as a president, I think it is not really good, because the implication is that those who you deprive, they can team up and begin to be obstacles to your own progress as an executive arm of government.
Indeed, Auwal, we'll leave it here for now. This is all time or allow. Auwal Rafsanjani is with the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center.